Let's go, 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 let's go, 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 let's go, go, let's go, go. People know I play my part through my city art. Go, 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 go. People know I play my part through my city art. Mad Lion, turn my voice up. Fresh from the mountaintop, people keep on asking me, when your album gonna drop? They begging and harassing me. I pull up the Whole Foods, the juice bar is nagging me. The cashier's asking about an album while she's bagging me. The dude calls a cab for me.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Nate, aka Crash. You're listening to the KANU Chronicles, and jumping on doing an episode 206. We're gonna keep it going here this week. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week and everything. Just jumping into a Drivecast Solocast podcast, kind of going for a little old school this fine day. It's a middle of the week, July 10th, 2019. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff in the news, as always, tons of stuff. Gonna try to, give you a few things or talk about a few things. Just wanted to make sure to give you a little extra this week, and even more. I hope you guys are good. You're listening. If you're listening to us, thank you very much. You're listening. Shout out to all the listeners on iTunes podcast, on Stitcher. Shout out to all the Stitcher listeners. Shout out to all the Castbox listeners. Shout out to the TuneIn Radio listeners. Shout out to the iHeartRadio listeners, the YouTube listeners. Thank you so much. Shout out to all my fans in the UK, Canada, Australia, and South America, everywhere. And shout out to all my fans across the United States, and mainly here in California, of course, since it's the home state, and I know I've got a good bit of people on this side, a lot of podcast listeners, so just try to give you guys shouts out, to the regions and everything, let you know that I see everybody. I appreciate it, but real quick, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter. Look up KANU Chronicles. This will be in the show notes, as it always is. Any show notes, at least for the last, 20 or more. I mean, I've pretty much been putting them in for quite a while, but you could find the information there. But KANU Chronicles, at KANU Chronicles on Twitter, you can follow me there. You can also follow me on Instagram at GRTN8, Great Nate. You can follow me there. And those are my two primary ones. You could definitely like my Facebook page for KANU Entertainment. You look up KANU Entertainment, and you'll find us right there. I would appreciate any likes there. That'll be great. I'm not super active on it. Trying to a little bit more. And then also, of course, the main website, ilovekanu.com. Go check it out. There's a merch page for the shop, and there's some other things you can get to know a little bit of what KANU's all about, what's going on, and also there's a tab there for the podcast. So again, I'm just giving you all the options of where you can listen and follow and all that good stuff. And definitely the YouTube page. Please subscribe, like and subscribe. Come over to the YouTube page. Of course, the podcast is running there. Definitely look forward to getting some new content, more video up. But there's I have over, or just about 100. I think I just crossed the 100th video, but it's, I would say, kind of less than that because the podcast count. But it's really just audio you're getting when you get the podcast on there. For now, still looking to change that here, pretty soon. I know I've been promising, but just bear with me. Hey, at least we're now on YouTube. I didn't have that going on for a little while, so we're good to go. Definitely good to go. But yeah, please like, subscribe, all that stuff. But yeah, we're fired up, getting it going. I'll jump right into. We'll talk about some sports. It's the home run derbies, the MLB All-Star Week. It just ended. The All-Star game was last night. The American League won again, 7 in a row, embarrassing the National League once again. Although at least it was a better game, 4-3 apparently. I didn't watch any of it. I didn't watch the home run derby either, sadly. Again, if you guys don't know, I work in the in the film industry, movie industry, TV, behind the scenes. So never mind just that. It's just I have a lot of work going on, so I'm missing some of these things sometimes. So I'll do my best to give you some coverage or thoughts or whatever. But bear with me if I don't have as much info as you would like or comments. But that's how it goes on here. I'm not, as much as, yes, I do sports recaps. I've been covering a lot of that. I may not be the level of a sports analyst that you're looking for. I don't get to dedicate this to my, life. I have a lot of work. If you guys would, the more support I could get, of course, I don't put any links out there. Of course, donations would be fantastic. I could get to a point to where I would be able to do it full time, or at least a lot more. So, well, we're heading there. But in the meantime, I'm coming from the perspective of, I'm the everyday guy out there. The everyday fan who's got a job just like you guys, right? So I hope you could relate there. I hope I'm relatable in that sense. I would imagine. I'm doing a lot of hours and stuff like a lot of us, trying to make your ends meet and try to enjoy a little bit as well. And I'm also taking things to the next level, working on business. Something, I've been working on stuff for, quite a few years. Just trying to push in advance and, move on to, new ventures and make more money. That's the idea. But in the midst of that, I want to provide you guys good content, whether it's the podcasts that you're listening to, whether it's the music that you may end up listening to. Right now, the one artist particularly is my mother, Monica Martov. You could check her SoundCloud out. You could also find some of her songs on iTunes or any of that. So all those are support, plays, but any of that I totally appreciate, guys. So I want to bring good content, like I said. I'm not just trying to put out bullshit. So and I know that you guys aren't going to like everything. That's just the way it goes. That's okay too. I'm fine with it. So yeah, that gives you a bit of a view. So anyways, get back to it. Yeah, the MLB home run. It sounded like it was really good, very exciting. Guerrero Jr., big time ball player years ago. Vlad Guerrero, his son. I guess he's now in the majors. He had a huge. I think he won the home run derby. 29 of them. I forget what the number was, but. Yeah, so it sounded like it at least was a more exciting all-star couple days there for anybody that's into baseball. So that's really, that's good, man. I haven't really got to watch a whole lot, but I've been trying to catch some here and there. I did, however, just look at the Pirates and see where they were in the standings. They're just barely under 500. As a matter of fact, they're only 2.5 games from first. Division's pretty mixed up as usual. It's that division, the Central, the NL Central, has been a good jam. What do you want to say? A lot like a traffic jam. They've been these last few years, man. That nobody's clearly the best. They're all very good. I probably would say any of those teams, even including the Pirates and some of the other divisions out there, they all probably would be first place teams. Between from the Pirates to the Brewers. The only one team that's kind of out of that mix or is still struggling a bit is the Reds, I think. They're still a bit struggling. I think they're a little bit better. I have to look again, but it's a fun division. That's one division every year if you want to watch some good games, whether they're playing each other or other teams. Most of those teams, you're going to have a good game pretty much. Not every time, but I would say they've been really performing pretty good. But getting back to it, the Pirates in particular, just look at their last 10 or 15 games, and man, they've really played well. They were slumping there, but they've been really making a comeback, and I'm really impressed because they got some big wins in there. They had a couple big wins against Houston, matter of fact. And I'm talking like 10-2, they've been putting it down. They've been really hitting. So, we'll see, man. I'm always, if you've been a long-time listener, I'm always a little optimistic. I always try to pull for them. I grew up out in Pittsburgh. That's my hometown, actually it is my hometown. I mean, that was my real, growing up, place. I say that because I'm from here in LA, and I really have spent more of my life here, but, Pittsburgh's special to me, of course. I got a lot of family there, friends, and, memories and all that good stuff. Just was back there, too, just a couple weeks ago. Had a nice visit. Didn't get to go see a game, unfortunately, and there were some good ones. They played the Tigers. The one game we probably would have went to, they lost, but it was good. It was close. And then the last game, if we went the last day that evening, they won that game. That would have been really cool. But it's all good. It's hard to do everything. We did damn good. We got to hang out with family a lot, and that's the most important thing. Got to see a couple friends. So it was cool, man. Another good week would have been, I really could have, if we could have had another, even 3 more days would have been perfect, because it just gets, you go back, to your home, or, if you're someone that goes through this where you live in another city, the feeling, you go back, and depending on how much family and all that you have, it's just, it's hard. You want to catch up. You want to spend some time with them, but you also want to be like a tourist and just hang out. And it's kind of impossible. So, but yeah, another couple days or so would have done it. I think we would have been able to. We would have been good. But it's all good. It's just what I was hoping for, and I'm not complaining. Shout out to everybody. If you're listening from Pittsburgh or in Pittsburgh, and shout out to all you guys, man. I had a good time. I don't know if it's any family or anybody listens to the podcast, but shout out to all y'all. I love it. If you do, man, give me some support. Damn it, say what's up on the page. Stop being creepy about it. No, I'm just saying. You never know who's gonna chime in or listen or whatever. You know what I mean? But it was cool, man. But getting back to here in LA, I didn't mention it. I don't know why. I didn't even think about it at the time. But if you didn't really know already, we did have a couple pretty good shakeups, earthquakes out here this past week. One on the 4th, one on the next day. Definitely the most I've ever felt since I've been out here, even from years ago. And I would say really it was the longest and the most, I would say it was the longest and all that. But otherwise, it wasn't like, I wasn't really scared, because I kind of got I don't know how to put it, like I kind of got a feel for it, I guess, in a way. At least I think I do. Just being through some of the ones I've been through, so I kind of get the idea of what it's about. Meaning, like, once it's shaking, you're gonna know pretty soon how big that sucker is gonna get. it's gonna, it's either gonna hit you and it's like, oh shit, this is like real big, we're right there, we're really close. It's all about how far it is, you know what I mean? The closer to it, the stronger usually, that's basically how it goes. But it didn't, there was none of that. It was just steady shaking and, and not violent, not real, just enough, enough shaking you could feel it. But, yeah, that was it. Thankfully, that was it. Thank God. But, the people up at Ridgecrest, the areas that really got affected out there in the high desert, definitely a different scenario for some of those people. But, again, it's going to happen. These things are going to happen, whether, it's an earthquake here or it's, hurricanes somewhere else, tornadoes, these things come, these things happen in life. But, God bless, everybody's cool. It didn't, it didn't get any worse. And, hopefully that stays that way for a while now. That, hopefully, yeah, we're just still, maybe, hopefully don't have any more action and nothing, hopefully close to here, really, that's the main thing. But at the same time, look, I'm going to give you what's up as far as I know. Look, earthquakes, they can be dangerous, can be devastating, just depends. But it can be tricky too, just like tornadoes, where, one neighborhood could get it really bad and places busted up or gone or whatever the case. And, next street over, not the same thing. It could be maybe some damage, but not too bad. So, similar things. LA in particular, this is a very big city, guys. Everybody thinks of the movies when it comes to that stuff a lot of times, or a specific image from a previous earthquake. You're going to see the damage on the news, but trust me, if they, I'm pretty sure in the 94 quake, it wasn't like not every single place in the whole city was damaged, it's a variance, you know what I mean? Now, anybody I've talked to or anybody I know that was here for that one, they'll all, that one was definitely like an attention getter out of most earthquakes, because the difference with that was it went up and down. It was like a violent quake like that. Most of the time they're side to side, so that really took people more, that was, I think, pretty scary more than most, but it sticks out to people. You talk about any other ones, nobody really bats an eye. And besides that, before 94, quite honestly, you have to go pretty, I think in the 80s there was some, but like a smaller one, like maybe in 83. I guess there was something before when I was little here. I just don't really remember it, I think I do remember a tremor. Now that's another thing. You could be in you could have a tremor. Sometimes you could have a tremor and it's just isolated to literally like underneath your house maybe, or in like I said, a few houses. And I did experience something like that where it was like, it was just, we had it happen on our side of the street and our windows shook and everything, but our neighbors were like, they didn't feel it, they didn't have anything. So those are weird. That doesn't, and that again, those things don't happen that often, but yeah, you could have really strange type deals with that stuff. But yeah, as far as outside of the 94 quake, man, then you go back to, 71 is one people talk about. That's another one, but that's going pretty far back. That's before me. My mom remembers it, and they were here, she was here for that. But, it's, yeah, we're pretty, well, obviously in 89 in San Francisco, up north, that was devastating for up there. But yeah, they're not, when you get a, one of these big ones or something more, in a populated, they're really, it's pretty amazing. There isn't that many of them really, if you look at it. And, I'm talking about here specifically. Of course, if you want to talk worldwide, yeah, there's always, examples. Peru gets a lot of them. Japan, I think those two places get it worse than most. Indonesia, I think they get a pretty good amount of them. But, life goes on, man. Life goes on. That's all you can say. There could be worse things. So I just wanted to put that out there, just let you know. But, I'm fine. I was at work for the last one. It was kind of funny. I was just working, and then you feel a shaking a bit, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And I just got under the desk just in case. There was nothing going on. I have nothing that was going to... It would have to be pretty bad for something to fell. There's really nothing there. There was like ductwork, so it's like kind of warehousey type place. So it would have to be a pretty local or strong ass earthquake to have done something in that place. But yeah, these places, that's the other good thing, man. We're more prepared than most. Like every building these days in this city are pretty much all on rollers. I mean, that stuff has been going on for years. There's even more advanced retrofitting going all around town in the midst right now, which is another, they're just keeping the standards super high, and they've been doing that, for quite a few years. There's a lot of knowledge out here on it. You could, if you're going to have something like that happen, this is the place to be. All right. It's not, nobody wants it. Nobody wants it to be real bad. Nobody's looking for, big destruction, but I'm just saying, in terms of services and people that know what the fuck to do and all that, you're better here than if you're back in Pittsburgh or some of these places that just don't expect it, and you have a decent earthquake, that's a little more scary to me, or quite a bit, because they're not prepared. They have no fucking clue, and their emergency service people aren't going to really be helpful either. I'm not saying all of them, but it's just not what they're prepared for. So I think those are, and again, that would be obviously a very rare, weird thing, but it happens. There has been earthquakes in places that don't typically get them, and there's fault lines. There's fault lines everywhere. It's just where are they active, and that's the difference. But as we've seen or heard with all these, fracking and all that, it's made that a issue in places that wasn't really an issue before. So, and I know there's arguments about that. I don't know that world all that well. Maybe I'll have to get my friend Tim. Shout out to T-Bone if you're listening. Thank you very much. I should get him on sometime. He could probably give us some more information. That's his business. He knows the oil world. That's what he does. And I'd like to hear some, because I really, I don't know everything about that shit. That's for sure. So I don't like to, I think it's good to, you want to hear some viewpoints to get a better idea what the fuck we're talking about, right? But, anyways, shout out also to Mick Aussie if you're listening. Appreciate you, man. Hope you're good up there in Calgary. Shout out to you. Shout out to my good friend Manny out here in LA. I'm going to shout out to him. Awesome listener. Been really good supporter. Matter of fact, I'll say that you got me to, step it up back at the time when you, told me you were listening, man. So thank you. That gave me that fuel to kind of get back on and take it more serious, and here we are. So I appreciate you, man. So just want to give some individual shout outs. Oh man. All right, getting close here. Sorry, I know you hear me driving away, but I'm just getting close to my destination. So we'll be wrapping it here in a few. So so that's it on the earthquake talk. I don't need to keep going on. I think you guys get the point. But afterwards, the last podcast, I thought, man, I can't believe I didn't even I didn't say nothing about it. That's, but that's a good thing. That tells you that, you know, that I'm all right. You know, it wasn't, obviously I wasn't affected directly like some areas and some people, of course, but, yeah, a lot of us are all right out here, basically. I mean, like I said, it was pretty much, you know, the place, Ridgecrest, which is up north, not a place anybody would really know or go to. It's about 150 miles away from here. It's in between here and Vegas, but, yeah, they, you know, those are the people that, you know, if you want to look at, follow up, see how they're doing, you know, that's the place that got, you know, they got affected out there. So, you know, my best to all of them. I hope they're good. I hope people are getting some help, the ones that need it. And, you know, I hope they can get their, depending, you know, what would happen, you know, just hopefully they can get back to normal again, pretty soon. And I'm sure they will. It's, but that's scary. It is scary, man. Things like that, you know, just like anything in life, death, you know, disease, you know, job loss, you know, these are all events that could be really devastating to people. So it's just, you know, but it's something we have to go through in life, man. But anyways, guys, I'm going to pause and stop for a minute, and I'll be back. You won't even notice anything.
Dad, I wish I was like Jordan, so I could just fly through the air, no one could ever stop me. Or like Mike Tyson, so I could just knock people's heads off. Nah, more like Prince, so I could pull all the honeys. Well, a brother like Chi Ali is pulling all the honeys anyway, but still, it would be nice.
What's going on, kid? Time for dress to begin. I see you grinning, I'm beginning to think that we're friends. And if we are friends, then we are far from fools. So I will venture to let you enter my sphere, cool? Now listen, I'm known as a black sheep. And if you try to pull the cover and attempt to sleep, you won't get rest, nah. You cannot sleep on this, for I make noise. See, but anyway, a life inside a day is where I live, and though I wish that more, I pray, but hey, I live on nonetheless. Through progress and regress, I've got my body and my intellect.
Hey guys, back on here. Just finished up the day, so had to get a little bit of, just got a little bit of gas. It's in the late hours here, coming up on 1 o'clock, so just bear with me. No, I'm fine. As far as I'm awake and stuff, but you know, still trying to. I'm just at that point of like, okay, it's time to try to chill myself out. You know, like I just ended up finishing up and kind of realizing, I hope that you know, I didn't do anything wrong, but you know, you're just like, God dang it. Just noticed something type thing after a day. But I'm just like, I can't be worried about it or think about it. It's just a waste of time. It's the last thing you want, especially right now. It's just a long day. I don't want to bother myself with that. Sorry, with this fucking beeping. It's the lane changer, or the lane detector. If you're drifting, it just trying to tell you to wake the fuck up. And I got some shit rattling in here on the fucking door. Sorry. I don't know how much you can hear sometimes, but I'm all super aware. So yeah, just trying to finish up. Well, I just finished up, but yeah, trying to get the fuck home. In a minute here, just hitting every fucking light though before the freeway, so it's always fun, especially when there's nobody around on the roads. But yeah, good day. Yeah, I'd say it was a really good day overall. Just I just hope I get some better rest tonight. Last night was not that, I don't know, it just just one of those nights, man, you know? And the schedule I'm on, well, I've been doing this for a little while, so it ain't like it just happened. I've been kind of back to this kind of schedule for a few months now, so I should be fine. But it always, once in a while it happens where you just don't sleep the way you want, you know? And I just hate that, so I'm hoping tonight it's better. It should be, but yeah, so I don't know where I was leaving off to. I know I was kind of talking about a few things here and there and whatever, but let's continue on. I'm trying to think, man. Get back into sports. Yeah, there's nothing that really, sports is really dead right now, as far as anything going on, so I don't have much to say. We already covered, like I said, the NBA trade. All it's been is the trade talk and who's where, you know, that type of stuff, but it's pretty much, we see what's up. There's not much else to talk about. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, there isn't like a lot I need to add on to what I already talked about. And matter of fact, if anything, you know, I may go into it a little bit with Kim again when I get him on, like I was supposed to have already this week. So, but we'll probably do a little more boxing and all that. Who knows? Anyways, I don't know why I fucking care, guys. I'm just trying to make sure to, you know, I just want to have something good here. I got something fun for you guys. So today, the big video, the big thing going on Twitter was this Bagel Boss. That's the nickname they're giving this guy, the Bagel Boss, or something like that. I don't know. But this guy got in a fight in a bagel shop somewhere. I don't know what. If it was, looks like a chain bagel place. There's out here in LA, there's a place called Western Bagel. And it wasn't here. I think this might have been back east. I don't know. I shouldn't even say where. I have no clue where it was. It could have been anywhere. But I'm assuming it's, Western Bagel is out here, but there's back east. You got Brugger's Bagels. I don't know how many areas got that. That's like in Pittsburgh. But nevertheless, kind of like, we'll just say like a chain kind of bagel place looking spot. But anyways, I guess the video starts, it's a cell phone video as usual, like somebody's phone. And I guess this lady said something that set him off somehow. Maybe he cut in front, I don't know what he did, what he must have did. It was one of those things, you're just seeing it happen. But he just starts going off, and it's like it triggered him because he's like a shorter guy. He's like 5 foot, I guess, or something like that. And he just fucking like went off on her for like, and literally admitted it. He's like going off on her about stuff that other interactions with women online he's had. He's obviously just an angry guy that is insecure about his height and probably been picked on a lot or whatever. You know, he's got issues and probably doesn't have, you know, his love life, something's going on, something's not working, you know, whatever. It just isn't working for this guy. And he just takes it out on them. He's going off on them. And they're like, nobody said that. What are you talking about? And he's like, they say it online. Whatever. You guys, I'm telling you this. You've probably seen it already. And if you haven't, look it up. But yeah, he just goes off. And then he gets in this other guy in line's face, trying to like challenge him. And the guy's not biting. He's just like trying to like avoid it. Like whatever, you know. He just wasn't going back at him. And some dude in the background, you hear him, hey man, shut the fuck up. And he goes, what are you gonna do, you know? you gonna do something? He's like, and he just fucking, the guy just came and knocks him over, and he's like on top of him, and that's kind of where it ends, I think. I don't know if there's more footage, but I know there was a little bit aftermath footage, but you know, it's, the guy's just, he's pissed off, man. And yeah, from what I could tell, I don't think he really ended up, it's not like he got really injured. It's just a real funny video. Yeah, I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think anybody, fortunately, nothing really bad happened. But, oh my God, it's so funny. It's so funny, and it's just, you know, it's just like, geez, you know, just like, damn, bro, like, talk about a bad, like, this guy's having a bad day. And something, it just set him, he just got set off, man. So it kind of, and I, you know, if he thought he had it bad now, or bad before, you know, he's worried, he's bothered by his height and all that shit. Oh, he's gonna really hear, I mean, now that this has gone viral, his whole, I'm sure it's been too much. So, you know, good luck to him. I hope it doesn't drive him over the edge, poor guy. Like, you know, in a serious note, like, if y'all, you know, unless it was brilliantly fake, which I very much doubt. But sometimes you never know with the internet these days. You know, on a serious side of it, like, the guy is really, you know, to be so, like, sensitive like that, to let something, you know, just, you can tell he's a bit older. It's not like he was a kid, but just to be that mad and get so mad about something that nobody really said to him, but, you know, he's bothered and thinking about it, you know, whatever. And, you know, it's just, I just go, damn, you know, like I said, he might get it real bad now. If some random people out see that guy and they recognize him, they're going to be like, hey, you know, they're going to talk shit. So, good luck to him. I like, really, I hope the guy, you know, hopefully finds humor, or somehow, like, maybe it'll help him. Maybe it'll help him, but I hope he can flip that. But yeah, I you know, I'm saying that because, you know, I don't want, you don't want to, you know, as much as it's funny, and it's more funny because I'm not even laughing that he's like a short guy. It wasn't really that. It's just because the way he was and him so angry is what's so funny about it, you know. And then, of course, yeah, so I don't know. It was an interesting one of these fun video, you know, these videos that we get to see. But, you know, like I said, thankfully it wasn't nasty. It wasn't, you know, it didn't end up in a bad way. You know, it didn't end up with anybody bleeding and some serious, you know, I don't know, head injury, you know, shit like where it's like, oh fuck, you know, that's not cool. But yeah, it didn't go down like that. So, you know, thank God. It really is pretty fun, just fun overall. But that was the big viral video today. Yeah, so that's what we live with, right? There's always something going on. And speaking of fights, I still haven't watched it, but there was flipping it the other way, it was a bad fight apparently, but a whole bunch of people got into it. A family, I guess. I don't know how it started. I think a lot of people are confused probably too on it. I know my wife was trying to figure it out. But it was a really terrible fight at Disneyland the other day. Real ugly, just ugly. Probably not called for, you know, just chaos. So that's terrible. You know, but this is what we get to see. And you know what? I don't know if this is more, maybe there is more of it now, but I don't really know, man. I don't really think so. I think that we're just, now that there's cameras and phones, you know, to capture this stuff. We're just getting to see it, you know. I think more or less people are kind of realizing that a little bit more. But it does make it, you know, it doesn't make it better. It just, you know, just realize, you know, we could just see how shitty people can be, you know, sadly. Sometimes it is funny though, you know, sometimes this stuff can still be entertaining, or you try to, you know, find something, but unfortunately there's a lot of stuff it's not. It's terrible, you know, it's like, ugh. But I'm pretty, like, I guarantee though, there's somebody out there that could tell you a story from, you know, years back of maybe a similar situation at a, you know, it's not the first time people have gotten into fights, you know what I mean? So, as much as we, you know, I think the thing is, like I said, we've reacted, and I think it's changing a little bit, but people just get so, oh my God, I can't believe, oh, society, you know, it's this and that, and it's like, yeah, somewhat, that's true, you know, I think there's some things to say about that, but it's like, but then I'm like, people, like, you gotta really think, it's like, there's been incidents before, there's been people being assholes, you know, it's not new, we're just, you know, we're just gonna see it now, so, because I'm sure if we had these phones 30 years ago, you know, I'm sure there would have been some fucked up footage caught back then, you know, no doubt. Look at America's Funniest Home Videos. You know, that's what this was back in the day. It was all about, everybody was trying to catch, not so much something terrible, you know, but, you know, people were trying to catch a funny video, and that was the original viral video, but you submitted it, and people were trying to win a few bucks type thing, and, you know, so I'm just saying that to show that, well, people captured some crazy stuff on their VHS camcorders and stuff, whatever they had, you know, back then. So it just shows you, it's like, well, yeah, just imagine if we had more portable cameras and good ones at that. Yeah, there would have been tons more shit, you know, that would have been caught. And, you know, and it would have created more of a thing of some people maybe wanting to start shit or set up a situation. You know, it's just, there is a certain thing about human nature, you know. We just didn't have the device to do it. But, which I'm glad, man. I mean, I'm great. In some regard, yeah, there's some things, you know, of course, there's some things about this technology that we have that I wish we had it. You know, there's some things that I wish we had, but there's other parts of this where I'm like, well, I'm glad we didn't, you know. So, you know, like the internet searching and the to learn things, that part of all this I wish we had, or, you know, the way to take pictures, you know, just the way people use it for good, that's the part where you're like, oh yeah, it'd be great if we would have had that, you know, to some degree. But the truth is, we know that people would have done shitty things back then with it, for sure. You know, I mean, I'll give you a quick one because I'm about to get home here, but for instance, in high school, well, we were in junior high. This was junior high, so we're talking pretty much 8th grade. And there was one of the radio stations back then, this is back in Pittsburgh, called Whammo. They're still around. This is the R&B station. Well, back then more known as like the R&B station. Now it's, you know, hip hop. Still it was then too, but it was like just in that time. But anyways, I forget the guy's name. One of the DJs had a you know, Friday night show, and you'd shout out your friends or whatever, and, you know, people became regular callers. So everybody was making their own. We would call in and we would make, you know, everybody would make some kind of name up. Hey, this is so-and-so, and, you know, that type of thing. And shout out to blah, 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 blah. And, well, me and some of my other friends and some other people that we, you know, it's like we started pushing it, and it started becoming like we started talking shit. We figured out a way to like kind of talk shit on, because we were making these names up, you know, but we knew amongst each other who we were talking about, kind of. But we started basically like starting fights or talking shit on the radio about like that to other schools and, you know, to other people. So, and it got bad enough where they obviously realized that, and they stopped the show because we turned it into that. You know, and I'm sure many people weren't even clued into that. It was just amongst our group. But it got out of hand, and they pulled the plug on that feature. You know, they didn't have people call in, or they just really screened a lot hard. I think they were screening a lot harder, but I think we literally stopped that show. I'm pretty sure that's what it went. I remember it did happen, and yeah. So that's why, like, some people, you get older and people forget. You have, you know, or people conveniently, you know, lie to themselves. No, we were this and we were that. But I know damn well how we were, you know, that in terms of, or I knew the ones amongst, you know, my age group who, you know, the immaturities and the you know, the shit, just the bad shit that you do as a kid, or just being immature and, you know, all that type of shit, man. There were some real knuckleheads, you know, just bad, you know what I'm saying? And we were, you know, trying to pull off shit back then, and whatever else that, you know, kids do, or young dudes, you know, may try to do. So that right there will tell you, like, that's why I don't like subscribing, getting on, you know, oh, millennials this and millennials that. You know, it's like, yeah, there's some things you could say, but it's not being honest about, like, well, what were we like in our, you know, younger years? You know, maybe you weren't, or certain people. That doesn't mean like everybody was acting a damn fool or whatever, but let's not bullshit ourselves. There was definitely some kids that were fuck ups and looking for trouble, so it's not anything new. All right, I'm gonna stop for now, and I'll be back.
Bad brothers know his name. Bad brothers know his name. Bad brothers know his name. Bad brothers know his name.
Lord Finesse got something for your eardrums. Back on the scene, long time no hear from. It's the funky man, the brother with the same sound I've been cooling. A body and some change now. So hand over the microphone, cause it's my turn. The brother with the fade, half moon and long sideburns. Nice doping, keep the girl scoping. Say the funky shit and get all the niggas open. So heed that, don't try to yap and give me feedback. I'm getting that ass, believe that, can it? I steal your show like a bandit. I get paid while you're broke like mass transit. You're not as smooth as this, so what can you do to this? Brothers need to stop and step with that foolishness. I'm the type to interrupt your party. I don't need a phone to reach out and touch somebody. Give me.
Hey guys, back on here, ready to go. Continuing on this podcast. If I've been listening, if I probably previously said that I was going to put this up sooner, but yeah, this is all just going to combine it. It's all good. I'm going to make it a real, you know, real action-packed one, I hope. Yeah, me talking. But anyways, just get into my weekend, so to speak, meaning not weekend like most of us where you just hang out. I'm actually going to work some more. Yeah, I've taken on a lot, guys, but it's good. I need to get to work while it's out there like this, and it's just part of the gig when you're in a freelance situation. If you guys know about freelance, you know, it's, you got to manage your time and different things, you know, accordingly. But I like it, even though I'm working a lot. I love all the places I'm working for right now. I'm so lucky. Very fortunate, you know, and of course the type of work I do, you know, teach is film restoration, which really is a big sounding word for, I work on a computer all day, cleaning film dirt, scratches, and all kinds of stuff, frame by frame. It's a detailed job. It's not a super hard job. A lot of people, I'd say I could probably teach most people, but, to get to a certain level and get proficient and, all the other things that come with it, that just takes a lot of time, of course, and not everybody would, this work would probably drive some people a bit mad, maybe. It's, it's not for everybody, but but it's one of those jobs too. It's actually pretty chill. It's cool. You just have to get into that mind frame. But yeah, when I think about it, to have done it as long as I have at this point, I kind of surprise myself, because a lot of it, you're in a dark room, it could be kind of sometimes a lonely job. You're not really, there's not much interaction of, there's some, but it's not a lot. And, but that could be good, if you don't like to be bothered and you like to work on your own, it's a perfect job for you. But, anyways, no, but that's just to give you a gist. I don't like to, I'm not going to sit here and talk too much about it. I hope to, at some point, probably get somebody else in my industry on, perhaps, which been, just like a lot of things I've been wanting to do, right? Where's the time? But, that way, I'd like to do that, where I can get somebody else that does another job or something like that, and we could, probably talk a bit more about that and talk about, just kind of explain the industry a little bit for people that might be interested. I don't know. Just a thought. So that's what's up. But yeah, that's all that's going down. I'm just getting it on. So you're hearing me in the midst of getting to this facility. Oh man, but yeah, I'm actually gonna stop. I gotta grab some food along the way here, so I'm gonna pause briefly and I'll be back on. Great little Chinese spot I really like called Flaming Wok, and I should hopefully do a YouTube. I did kind of record some video, but I want to do a better one. I kind of the way I did it didn't come out as good. I'd like to do a better one. So coming up, that's something I need to do, is do a proper vid for them. So, but I have another Chinese place that I like to go to. That's it's right across the street from, not far from where I live, but it's called China Wok. Just another, strip mall Chinese place, but I love those joints. As long as they're good, they're fresh, and they have a good. When you see a line at these places, which both of these locations, they're different owners and everything, maybe they're the same, but probably different owners and everything, but they each have like a really, loyal customer, like repeat customers, new customers, I'm sure, but both places do really well, so whenever you see that makes it, that's a good sign. Much like even, Panda Express. A good Panda Express is basically, you have constant people. That means they're cooked. You're probably going to get fresher food. You know what I mean? It's not just sitting there all day. So that's kind of, the idea. But, and nothing wrong with it if it's sitting for a little while. As long as it still is fresh and it's hot, it's still good. It's only a few bucks. What can you say? That's the main thing. As long as it says what it is and you're happy with it, that's all. It's good. But anyways, guys, let me pause and I'll be back. All right, guys, sorry about that. Just had to make that quick stop because I'm fucking real hungry. But yeah. So anyways, just continuing on here. Big trade happened. I'll be talking more about it with Kim. He'll be coming up soon in the podcast. So, yeah, we'll be talking about that. All the sports stuff, anything else, we'll be talking coming up. But, yeah, it's just more and more interesting, stuff happening in the NBA. And, it's, like I said, it's fun because, we're talking, but it's going to be a while till anything, the season's got a while till it starts, It'll come up quick, but at the same time, it's going to take a little while. So, just looking forward to that. Trying to think what else. Yeah, otherwise... we'll talk about some, current events or stuff. Today is Harrison Ford's Harrison Ford turned 77 today. I'm getting confused on different people. I'm sorry, guys. Forgive me. I'm talking loopy. I'm out of it. I've been working a lot. But, Harrison Ford, 77. Happy birthday to Harrison Ford. Awesome actor. If you don't know him, I don't know what you've seen, or you're just really young, but Indiana Jones, all the great Indiana Jones films, the Star Wars films, and, quite a few other films, especially in the 90s there. He had a real busy career, as far as being the guy to make a movie with. But yeah, he's he's a great story, great actor. Seems like a very, probably really chill, private guy, as far as I could tell. And, happy 77, man. That's amazing. Amazing, man. So, you got him. And then on another hand, I think his birthday was the other day, but Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, 21. Gotta give it up to Jaden. So, happy birthday to him. Just watched a really cool video that they put together on Will Smith's YouTube. Very cool video. Just kind of going, they kind of shared some home videos and just different points through his life all the way to this point, And, it was great, man. I have to give it to the kid, man. He's, he's definitely making his own name. He's been involved in the business all these years, obviously, big help because of his parents, but at the same time, I mean, he has been making his own name, like I said, taking his own risk. He's amazing. I have to really give it to him. I think he really is trying to do a lot of good things too. He's involved with like getting water to Flint and a lot of projects, man. At least a couple. I don't know all the projects, but it's just for such a young guy and obviously in a great advantage, which is awesome, which that's great, but he's doing some great stuff with it, not just being a spoiled idiot kid or something, which he could easily do. And, by the way, even if he did for a little while and he wasn't, he just happened to be that kid for a little while, well, I wouldn't be surprised. If I was 21 in his position, I don't know if I'd be that. I would hope I would be, doing some good things, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I can't say I would. It's one of those things you got to kind of really think about that. Like, what were you like at 21 and all that? Now, I would hope, like I said, I think I would do some things, but, I definitely could see myself, maybe being an idiot for a little while. But that's bigger than that. It's not, again, it's a lot different. We're just talking about switching out people and switching out situations, but really in actuality, it would be a lot more than that. You'd be a different person completely because you're talking about whole different parents than what you grew up with, and also the experience of having money and all that as, growing up and all these different access. I mean, that's quite a bit different. It's not something where he experienced at one point not having so much and then having a whole lot. So, yeah. But it's refreshing. It is good to see that because a lot of times, whether it's warranted or not, rich kids they're always seeming to get in trouble, have a lot of problems, and honestly, I don't think it's weird how we separate it like that, but really any kid or any age group or any circumstance can have problems and issues, money or no money, you know what I mean? So I don't know why these, we've kind of like made these stereotypes about certain things that aren't really, they're not really accurate in a way, or they're or it comes off, it's like kind of divisive, because it separates and makes it like, I mean, there's definitely differences between somebody that's coming from a lot and somebody that isn't, but there's a lot of things that aren't much different. Humans are humans, and people are gonna, if you have a mischief about yourself, or you have a rebel way, or you like hanging out with the wrong kids, that's gonna happen to anybody, you know what I mean? And then there's the kid that isn't like that, and they like books, and they just study, and they're not, they're not caught up into, what everybody else is doing. So it's just something to think about. So, but yeah, happy birthday to him. Like I said, it's really cool to see. And the video, if you get to check it out, I really recommend it. And it's kind of neat getting to see. For me, it's really cool to see Will, talk about it and, share that experience as a father and all that stuff. It's really cool, and I'm happy for him. Good to see that stuff, Couldn't happen to a better guy as far as I'm concerned, and especially in the entertainment industry. I think he's, what can you say? The guy's had up to this point and continuing, he's had such an amazing career, man, and he's done, a ton of things, and I like that they, I like that him and Jada, maybe started doing, I like that he has a YouTube and he does more social media, and kind of you get into their world a bit. It's just, it's cool, and I've been a fan of him, since back in the day when he was with the Fresh Prince, before he even got on TV, back when it was just parents don't understand. I liked him since that time. I don't know. He's just one of those people. Like, you want to be friends with him. You know what I mean? He's like just a bright person in the room. You know what I mean? So to shout out to all of them, and much more success and good times and experiences and all that stuff. So that's all for that. What else is going on? Oh, today another thing that another milestone or event. Today it's been 34 years since Live Aid, which was a huge concert back in 1985. I was just a little kid. I don't remember watching it live at the time. I could have been on, but I probably obviously wasn't paying attention. I was out playing around and playing with friends. I was about, it makes you think back. I'm like, did I see it at all live? I'm like, maybe it was on. I don't know. You just don't remember that day like that, But there's some people out there that probably right now, they definitely tuned in. And it was a monumental event for its time. Still stands out to this day. 2 different stadiums in 2 countries. You had in Wembley Stadium in London, or outside of London. I don't know exactly where it's at, but they had the one concert there with a lot of the UK, artists from that side of the pond. And then on the American side, they had at RFK Stadium in Philadelphia, they had another concert. So it was a simulcast like that. They kind of took turns going back and forth, I think, at one point. And it was 1 billion plus people watching it, all tuning in. So put in some context, too, for right now in this generation, and also what we're used to. Just, you got to think of it like they didn't, back then there was no devices, anything else to really watch. So there was other things to watch that day. I'm not saying there wasn't any channels. It wasn't like the 50s, but I'm just saying that, however, quite a bit, that's one of those events at the time that definitely took over. There wasn't all this other distraction and stuff. So, and it was the lineup. You just read the lineup of bands and everybody, and it's just amazing. It's probably one of Queen's last big performances with Freddie Mercury. I think it was one of the last ones. Probably not. This was in 1985. I don't remember. I don't know exactly when he passed away. And too early. Really sad when you think about it. But Queen was there. Phil Collins, Sting, Robert Plant. I'm just giving you names there. I'm not going to break down where they were in each stadium or which side. Wham, Pat Benatar. All these great acts from back in the day. And yeah, man, they, it was a big deal. And this Live Aid, it was proceeds were used to help feed kids in particularly, I think it was South Africa or Ethiopia, maybe a few different places, but it was created by Bob Geldof, and he was the one that put it together. So pretty big event. Look it up yourself. Get some insight on it. There was also, it was one of those times, I think it was all in the same year. You had that happen, and then you had another event called Farm Aid, which I think they're still doing to this day. And that was for the farmers here in America. And that was like John Mellencamp and all those guys, Bruce Springsteen, and yeah, that's another one. I'm pretty sure it was like the same year. So yeah, really pretty, when at the time, I think it's like anything, you kind of take it for granted, all these acts, but it's really special to look at these things and look back at and go, wow, that's so cool. All those people got to get together, and not all of them are here now, unfortunately. But, their music and everything lives on, and we get to enjoy it, all these years later. And, yeah, so, very 80s, though, I'll tell you that. You look at the styles and the sound somewhat, and it's really, it takes you back if you're old enough to remember that much. But, yeah, 34 years, man, that's crazy. But yeah, it's been a long time. That's real. Oh wow, sorry guys, I'm just shocked right now, but not so shocked. Wow, this place that's been here probably at least 20 years, called Little Slice or Taste of Chicago. They were like a Chicago pizza spot here in Burbank, and looks like they're gone, or maybe the ownership wanted to do something different, but it's going to be at some other kind of pizza place. Wow, I wonder what that just literally happened this last week or so, because they were just open. Well, times are changing. I was just saying that too. I was just thinking, I don't think anybody really, that was probably cool for a time. People were interested, but nobody gives a shit about Chicago pizza. I'm sorry. Not in LA. Not enough. Or there's just not enough Chicago people to... Or, there maybe they would, but it probably wasn't all that. Maybe they kind of went downhill too. But, wow, that's pretty trippy. But it happens. It's gonna go, places can't go on forever. Yeah, it looks, they must have had a pretty good run, because that place was definitely here by the time I got here back in the 90s, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, so anyways guys, let me stop for now, and I'll be back a little while. All right, guys, back up on. Continuing on this weekend here. So I'm just getting going. Still going in to do some more work on a Sunday. Yeah, I know, it's on a Sunday. It's like, Nate, go take a break. Yeah, I would, but you know what? It's all good. I want it. I need the work. And it's really, I don't want to, it sounds like it's more than, I mean, look, I'm only doing a few hours. I'm doing like 6. This is my good day. The 6-hour day. I love 6-hour day. It's chill, man. So, look, it's in the afternoon. This isn't 6 in the morning, Sunday morning. I'm all good. I still can enjoy the day here and there. I didn't go out and do anything. I could have, but no. I just hung out at my house today. Got some nice AC kicking. Had my coffee. Talked to my wife a little bit. Talked to Kim. Trying to get him on. Hopefully, not going to make any promises. He's kind of having technical difficulties. His phone situation's all messed up. So it works, but it doesn't. It's real sketchy. He's got to get some shit together up there on his tech side. I've been telling him that, but we'll see. He doesn't have even a freaking laptop. Doesn't have a PC. He's barely connected to the world, people. But he's got a video on YouTube. Got a few of them actually. But he's just in the midst of dealing with that. But it'll change pretty soon. Really, all he needs is a solid phone. But he really, I've been saying, dude, just get a cheap-ass laptop, cheap-ass PC. And this goes for any of you guys out there. Maybe you're struggling. Maybe you got a old-ass computer you need to replace, but you keep fucking around and you're just like, well, I'm used to it. Just stop it, guys. Just stop it. I'm not saying get rid of that damn computer. If it works, keep it running. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to upgrade it, go for it. This is Nate's Tech Tips. I'm going to give you Nate's Tech Tips. It's Nate Tech Tips. Sponsored by Robinhood. Yeah, join Robinhood, everybody. Get your free stock if you join Robinhood. Use my code MARTOFF or click on the link below in the show notes. Okay, we'll leave that short and sweet. Anyways, tech tips. So you got an older PC. This is for the PC users primarily. Mac users, this can also apply to you guys too. But I would say it's a lot more for the PCs. Okay, you got I'm going to be very upfront, transparent right now, guys. I'm not the one to sit there and talk like, oh, I got the latest and greatest. I don't. I'm right now recording on a iPhone 5S. A very good model, actually, though, as said by an Apple employee at the store. A very good model. But this is a new one. This is the second one I had from the other one, because that battery, there is a point, I guess the battery kind of expanded or something. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it was the chargers I used. Maybe it's just the time. That's just what happens. But something with that kind of made it glitchy, and I had to switch up. But I got a new one at the time. It was just last year, actually just months ago, really. I got it for like $80, and it's been working pretty much just fine. So this model, I think the 5S, it's probably just about 4 years old at this point, something like that, which shouldn't be that old, but it is in any of these tech terms. A brand new phone comes out every year. I think it's ridiculous to even bother with that every year, and most people don't anyways. So I'm just being clear so you guys aren't like, well, it's easy for you to say, Nate, you got brand new this, brand new that. No, I don't. So that's my phone. My PC at home that I use, both are actually our laptop and my PC. I don't know what the laptop in age. I think it's probably about 5, maybe even 6 years old. Works totally fine. It's a Lenovo. Works great. My wife primarily uses it. She has no complaints. I know that initially the battery there was an issue with, but I replaced that. No big deal. And it was cheap battery replacement. But it works great. No problems. And I have a HP desktop that's definitely, it's about 5 years old now. And again, it's been fantastic for the most part. It might be a little slow here and there for certain things, but it's mostly really pretty damn good. So something I'm trying to do in the meantime, I actually need to sit down and do it probably this week, to be honest, but I want to replace it with an SSD drive. I still have a regular old school, spinning drive. So the SSD drive, they're much like a flash memory, pretty similar, or like your SD cards in your phone, or any storage that kind of we use today, we just don't think about anymore. USB stick, it's kind of the same as that. Really amazing, because when you get it, you can't believe how small it is, how thin, But most computers and PCs you can convert and do this with. So if you could replace with an SSD drive, your main drive, have it, and it's easy to clone. What you do is you buy the SSD, and then you get an external holder, and then you could use it as an external drive. So in the beginning, you could clone from your old drive to that drive. That's the idea. Now, something I learned or didn't realize at the time, and something I'm going to let you guys know, pay attention to how much space you have on the drive, because if you want to just clone everything, then you really got to make sure you have the capacity on the new drive. I didn't do that. So I have to clear off space to be able to do the whole thing, which is not really a big deal. But, it kind of sucks, So, that's just something to look out for. But if you just do that alone, that's a huge improvement, in speed and everything. It'll work. It'll definitely make your computer feel like new in a lot of ways. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing is obviously make sure you're at max capacity on your memory. Many of you might have bought a standard, laptop or PC. In most cases, there's probably extra slots to add more memory. So you just want to, see if that's available. Just look it up online, look up your specs, or you could call even the manufacturer. Most of them are pretty easy to get on the phone. If you have to put a little time aside for this stuff, but it's not that big of a deal. So you just look that up and see what's up. And memory's really cheap these days. I'm talking like $10, 15, maybe 30, but it's nothing. Just depends how much you can put in there. If you have an older computer, most likely you're going to be putting, right now, mine's not even at max, but all I could do is add another 2 gigs, but that's going to make a pretty good difference. So most of the older PCs, you're probably going to find the same thing. So those are the 2 components that, if you could do both those things right there alone, very nice. You're going to extend the life of your computer most likely by another, I would say at least 2 years. Maybe even a little more depending on the age that we're talking about to begin with. So those are 2 things. The other thing, well, that's it as far as speeding up your computer. Now, the other thing outside of that, now you're just talking about you don't want to deal with all that, but I can't afford, whatever. Look on Amazon. I'm telling you, I've looked it up. There's a PC out there. It's small, you can't believe it. It's literally, it's not like the old school desktop tower, but it's like a little box. You've seen them already, you guys. But you could get a PC desktop. It'll do all the basic and more functions. I mean, you're going to get plenty out. Most people are going to get more than enough from this thing. If you want to email, just go online, purchase stuff, all the pretty much things you're doing already. Where it's going to probably have some problems is, if you're going to do a certain amount of editing or things that are going to require a lot of power, you're going to try to start, mixing records and you want to load some big time software on there to do that. Certain things like that, okay? But even myself, I'm like, shit, I might want to get one just to have it. Why not? It's literally, guys, it's $100. It's $99. Now, there's no monitor, there's no keyboard, but bare bones, you get your system at least, and you could replace what you have. Most of you guys, you could just literally replace it. You already have the keyboard, you already have everything else, and you just swap it out. And now you're pretty much brand new, or really close to brand new. So you can't make an excuse on the price. That's going to cover most people, outside of that, if you guys are particular or whatever, maybe you have more requirements, definitely I wouldn't go brand new. You don't necessarily need to go brand new. I wouldn't say you have to go brand new, but you could go back and get a really good computer that's maybe 1 or 2 years old, maybe even 3 years old, but go on eBay, do your due diligence, look up a really good supplier that's maybe, that has a lot of sales for it, but, and you could just get used PCs, real good ones, and save a lot of money on that without having to spend brand new money. So, that's, and you could, and at different, levels. So if you're really like, hey, I need something with some pop, I need some power. I mean, for $500, you can get a nice PC out, especially something that's a little older. You're going to get a good deal. Something that probably was like $1,500 just recently, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's really no excuse. And now it comes to phones, they get a little bit, the same thing kind of applies. Obviously, like I said, I'll say it right now, this phone, the 5S, definitely would recommend if you want, that's the oldest I would go for iPhone. If you want to, maybe you have an Android, maybe you're sick of it, you're kind of jealous, you want to get an iPhone, but you just can't really afford it, get the 5S, but just know the screen is going to be smaller than what's out there. Everybody's screen is big today, so that's the only thing that you're going to maybe, that's not going to be cool, but otherwise everything else is really nice. The camera's pretty damn good. It's pretty equal to the 6 actually in a lot of ways, so it works pretty fast. I could do most everything, no problem. Get on websites, everything, if you're on as long as I'm on the right network, everything's good. But if you just want to get base level iPhone just to get in the game, you could get one of these, and probably for $60 now if you look on eBay. Or maybe just get 1 or 2 and have them as a backup, in case your shit goes down. It's not the worst backup to have, it's solid. So I would recommend it that way. And that goes for the Galaxies. I don't know all the models that well, but I'm sure there's an older model of a Galaxy that is well rated, and you could do the same thing. Now, but that's where I would digress. Now, I'm going to get a newer one when it comes to this. Now, with phones, ideally, I would say nowadays, I don't know. We'll see with these models just recently, but I still feel personally that you should probably get a few years out of a phone, I would hope. If not, you really should get more than that, but they're more than just the function. It's an accessory, too, these days. They've really learned how to manipulate us to buy something that we really don't even need when it comes to actually what we need, because the phone we've had could still work just fine. We could call people and do all the things we need, but there may be that, this camera's got holograms and, whatever the fuck it's going to offer. The new phone, it's it automatically accepts Bitcoin or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's going to have some kind of thing that's just going to make you go, but it doesn't have this. So, but, I would prefer, really, this one being about maybe 4 years or whatever it is. I think that's long enough. That I could stick with that. If I could go through a phone every 4 years, that's really good. But we'll see. So I'm about to get a new one here in a couple months. And with that, again, when it comes to price, the only thing you could do if it just comes out, that you really can't, you kind of got to wait. You can't just get it necessarily right when it's launched and expect to get a deal. So right now, every year it's September that the phones usually come out. At least iPhone. I don't know about Samsung. They probably are about the same time. But all you could do is then, you know, wait till. I would say, if anything, you wait till. Oh shit! Did I miss my exit? I might have. Yeah. So you got to wait till. What do you call it? Digital Monday, or it's Black Friday, but then there's like Digital Cyber Monday. I think it's the following Monday. So if you could wait till that point, which that's the thing I'm kind of thinking of. I didn't think of that at first, but then I was like, oh shit, that's right, I could do that. Then you could get. That's when you'll get the first kind of deal, you know, on the brand new shit. You know, they'll entice you to, you know, they'll be like, oh, save $200 or something or whatever. And you may the used market might start coming in, and you know, you might find deals on the used market even for the new phones. So that's just do your extra due diligence, and I'm sure you'll find something that's gonna work for you. But reality is, with these phones now, hey, you gotta, if you want something pretty new, even with all what I'm telling you, you're gonna have to still shell out a good $500-600 possibly. I mean, that's just the way it is. But again, it's something you hopefully aren't doing but every few years. So, you know, in that respect, it's not that bad. Personally, you know, I've really been lucky. I've spent really not much on my phones. You know, I started with the 4. I'm only at the 5S. I think I've spent collectively maybe like barely $600 at this point. So I'm really winning when it comes to this shit. So right now, for me to get a brand new one, I'm still in a good spot, you know, and I'll probably be able to keep that one. You know, that's why I'm saying I'm interested to see what these new ones that have come out, you know, what's that going to be like over these next few years, you know, in terms of how long people are going to keep them. Is it going to be the same thing? You know, we'll see. Because, I mean, it's getting interesting. Like, what else can you kind of do with this at this point? I know everything will keep getting so-called better, but, you know, I think it just kind of runs out in a certain way. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so that's my tech tips, so to speak. No, that's my tech tips, guys. I for real hope that helps you guys a little bit. You know, I mean, some of it you might just go, well, that's all. You might just say, oh, that's, you know, what do you call it? You know, you might just say that's common sense. Oh, big, you know, whoop-de-doo. Like, I already knew that. You know, well, maybe some of you did, but there's people out there that don't. You know, they don't know. But I hope something out of that might, maybe just, you know, maybe it just got you stirred up. Maybe this'll, you know, whether you take my advice, maybe it'll help you get what you need to get going, because, you know, you've been thinking about it, but then you had other things on your mind. That's all. So, you know, just a little heads up. We all, you know, need that time to time. Like I said, I think we got to take advantage the prices of some things out there and look at this a bit differently. That's why I was mentioning, like, hey, why not? You know, I'm even saying this for myself. Like, you know, why not get the $100 computer and get the you know, have a couple older phones laying around. It's a nice, you know, that's a nice little backup, you know. It's not that expensive to have. And, you know, worse, you know, if times pass, you know, you could always sell it. You know, maybe you're not going to get much out of it, but you could always sell it too if you don't end up using it. But, I mean, it's like, to me, it's almost like a lot of, you know, it's like just as usable or useful to do something like that as if you're going to have extra water around your house because of an emergency, right? So I think with tech items, we should appreciate that. You know, look at how cheap, you know, these certain things, what you can get now, and you know, just have a little extra. I think, especially with a computer at home, at least for what I think, you know, in my world, you know, I think it's good. Definitely want to have a couple around it. You know, I think it's good to have a backup, you know. But I tell you what, it's getting interesting. These phones, when I really stop and think about it, and this is even with my phone, it's like I could really, you really can live off the phone in terms of, you know, anything you need to do on a computer, you really can do on the phone now. I mean, it's pretty fucking sick. I mean, the only difference is I do like, you know, I like being on the computer for different reasons. I mean, I have different files and there's editing tools and shit like that I can't do necessarily on the phone, or at least I'm not set up that way. And then it's visually, you know, I got more space to look at, you know, big ass screen. So that's still always going to have an advantage for some things, but there's a lot of stuff that still I could just do. If I really was like, hey, this is all you got, is just this phone, and you got to make this and that happen, I think I could still pull it off. I could pull off a lot of shit on a phone, man. And then, you know, one of these newer ones even, I mean, you could do even that much more. So, I mean, there's people literally producing records off of phones. It's mind-blowing to think that way. It really, really is. I mean, literally produce a record. I mean, I don't know if anybody's done it to this extent, but they're at least making the track on the phone and then it, you know, taking it out from there and mixing and doing all that. But I wonder if maybe there probably has been, or there, you know, it's not even like a big deal except to me, but maybe there's somebody that's done the whole thing on the phone, you know, the vocals to mixing, you know, they may have done everything and then they publish it from the phone. I could see that being possible, you know. I wonder, you know, I really do. I wonder, there's got to be somebody that's probably done that. So, and if they haven't, you know, we're really close to that becoming, you know, a reality. Sorry if I'm pausing. I'm like trying to pull into the spot here. Yeah, it's definitely really, really right there. Now, for sure, I know on an iPad or like a tablet, I think that's definitely, I'm pretty certain that somebody's done a whole record on a tablet at this point. But I'm going to tell you, as far as a guy, you're listening to a guy that was right in the midst of the digital change from analog to digital, and I saw it in the studio. That's what I came out here for, and coming out to LA. So I was right there, man. I got to see that shift happen, and to see that technology from that point to now, it's just like, it's pretty amazing, you know. I mean, it is pretty much to be expected. I mean, we realized you know, any of us that were techie enough or know enough, we were looking at it and going, yeah, this shit's changed, you know what I'm saying? And then you had other people, maybe older and stuff, they weren't able to accept that at first. It was like, no, it can't be, it can't, you know? And it's like, yeah, it will. Because they were thinking about all the money they spent on all these devices in the studio that they would use, and they're thinking, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So, but that's how it goes, man. And, big difference. But I'm going to stop for now, guys, and we'll be back in not even a second. Hey, guys, welcome back. Just jumping on to finish this podcast. It's the late night. Well, it's not that late. It's after 10:30, so it's late enough. But, yeah, so finally, my part of my weekend, my short weekend, which is basically it started at about 9. And will continue until, just about before 3 o'clock tomorrow. Which isn't too bad, really. That's, what is that, 12, 15? So, yeah, it's about a good 16 plus hours. That gives me enough time to get some good rest, actually get some stuff done, which I don't have a ton to really do as far as things that are real pressing, but it'll, you know, but there's always room to work and do things. But of course, I'll mostly try to use it to chill and decompress a bit. It's really important, especially with doing the kind of schedule I'm doing lately, which you guys understand from me repeating it at times. I apologize. I really, I shouldn't say I apologize. I don't apologize, but I should say I'm really wanting to go and like hang out and get some, experiences out there so I can give you some stories otherwise, but I don't, unfortunately just, my free time is, as you hear me talk about, it's pretty limited. I mean, I could, but it's like I'd have to really, which I'm going to be doing, and I already have, but, I just have to basically go after hours on the late night, and, I could pretty much hit like a last call type situation. I can go do those type of things, or, go to a place that's late night to eat, so yeah, there's some there's some things I can do there. Plus, in the daytime, on some days I'm going to have opportunity, of course, and I've had opportunity, I should say, but, I can go swim, I can go to the beach, it takes extra effort to do it, but I can definitely go do those things. It's just, it's just getting that extra motivation of, oh, I'm going to go do it, So I think I just have to psych myself up in those moments more, just like I'm kind of talking it out right now. It kind of gets me going, in a way. It's like, yeah, I could do this. But right now, of course, I'm having a little bit of beer. That kind of helps influence too. That makes you a little beer courage, and all that kind of gives you a different attitude. At least for me, it'll get you going. You'll want to go and hang out, sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes it makes me like, nah, man, I'm just crashing out right now. But right now I'm like a little bit hyped, just because I'm anxious to get some of that time again to go hang out, So I hope you guys can relate. We're all, even if you don't do the hours I per se do, we probably, I would say probably most of us, are spending a lot of time working, and that's not all bad. I guess, I think we just, I think we just can make it kind of negative when it doesn't have to be. It just depends what you're doing. Like I said, I can't emphasize enough, I actually do enjoy my work greatly. I'd say, I'm trying to be honest, really. I'm trying to be really honest about it. I would say the job overall I enjoy. I'll cut it a little low. I'd say by 85% I pretty much enjoy. I'll leave 15% I don't. I'm being pretty truthful, and that's probably very high for a lot of people. And it's not. I'm not saying that to like, oh, I'm bragging. If it comes off that way, I'm sorry. I can't help that if you take it some kind of way. But I'm actually just saying it in the sense. I'm actually saying it to hopefully maybe give some of you hope in certain ways of like, yeah, you can have work or some kind of job that actually is enjoyable to you. It just, you have to figure out what that is for you. I can't tell you. I'd like to. I do have that way about me. I like to, not to push things on people, but I do like to try to help people if I can, or certain friends, but I've kind of learned more and more not to really do that, because I've just learned that even if, they may listen and they may like some of what you're saying, they still got to figure it out for themselves. And it can make someone in that, like myself, that you want to see somebody maybe try. I'm not looking at, somebody's going to listen exactly and they're going to just maybe all overnight do this whole big thing, you know. I don't expect that at all. I just look at people as, like, when I share something like, hey, hopefully, you know, you might try a little bit or kind of, you know, consider it or bring it up yourself, you know what I mean? So, but, you know, that's just, it's not a bad thing to kind of be that way, but I'm learning, and I've learned for quite a few years that it's best just to, like, you know, let people figure it out. And if they don't, that's, you know, it's not your fault. It's not my fault. You know, it's not any of our faults. And I know some of you guys, some of you relate, I bet. You know, you probably do the same thing yourself. You're the helpful type. You probably a bit resourceful. You know, if you're one of those people, I you know, I relate. I understand how that is. But then, honestly, the thing is, too, is then you kind of take away from your own focus, and by doing that somewhat. I'm not saying not to go help people, and this may not apply to you, but for me, it's it becomes that I realize, I go, wow, you know, I gotta, that's that energy. It's like, yo, I got shit I gotta help me with, you know, and take care of and continue my business and different things. So it's like, let me really put that energy into that, and don't worry about, you know, trying to always be so kind of wanting to be helpful or whatever, you know, quote unquote. So just a little food for thought. So, you know, I'm just in that mode right now, guys. I'm just sharing some thoughts on my mind about different things. As I've said, this is what I want to be able to have more in this podcast. I want to give you, and I have given this kind of, you know, conversation and such, but I want to mix it up again, you know, that I've done before, but do it a lot better, do a lot more of it, and so this is one of those things. That being said, yeah, I'm not going to go into. I was hoping to get Kim to finish this up. You know, we've been speaking, and he said he was going to get on perhaps for the last day or so. It just hasn't worked. Maybe it's the schedules. You know, he knows when I'm getting off, and he seemed cool, but I'm giving a little leeway. I'm just going to say, hey, maybe some stuff's going on. Maybe he's just tired. I understand. So I don't want to. I'm not going to put any negative on it. It's all good. I'm just going to finish this whole thing up. So as far as the sports part, the component, whatever I've talked about a bit earlier in this podcast, I'm just leaving it at that. I don't have much to add to it right now. I'm not really into the sports mode right now. There's not anything really to talk about in my eyes. If anything today, to talk about the thing that's big in the news, and it very, very much should be. And I know I don't even go on this every day. I could totally make this actually everybody could, but our president, don't even want to say his name anymore, but he, you know, gone on his tweet storm, and I guess earlier today or maybe late last night, I don't fucking know. I'm not going to sit here and break it down. But he, you know, obviously has problems with Democrats, and especially probably, well, not probably, he said it, but, you know, particularly he pointed these tweets out to the young congresswoman like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, and I don't want to get anybody's names wrong, but the other one that's Muslim, I can't remember her name right now. Ohan? Yeah, Ohan's her last name. Forgive me, I wish I got her first name right now. It's not coming. I see it, but I don't want to say it incorrect per se, but alright, anyways, point blank, he basically said, you know, go back to your countries where, you know, why don't you go, you know, basically like one of those, classic racist asshole points that are, he said it a bit longer, but basically what he said, and it's not something that nobody's heard, but not from our president, especially our president or any leaders that I can think of. He said, go back to, if it's so bad here or whatever, why don't you go back to your countries that are crime-ridden and XYZ and XYZ, right? Just straight racist fucking bullshit. And matter of factly, I think they said 2 out of the 3 or something. If I'm not getting this spot on, don't crucify me. And if you have a problem, whatever, look it up yourself. I'm not the fucking news, and I'm not sitting here going to look it up and waste, have you guys sitting there. But they're basically all American, born here. 2 of them are at least born here. One of them, I think Ohan, she wasn't born here, but nevertheless, she's a citizen. They're all citizens. Obviously, you can't be in Congress and not be a citizen. And even so, it's like, you're a fucking, what's there to say? So, it's been a real fucking, it's created a real shitstorm. It's really already, there's a lot of shitstorming going on, but this to me feels like definitely one of his standout tweets that is possibly really pushed over things, I would hope. Because we've gotten so used to all the outrageousness and disgusting attitude and so forth. Because, look, again, I would have no problem, really. And in this aspect, I don't have a problem. Fine, you got a Republican in. You have, you guys want to fight for some of these things that, I may really disagree with. And then there's some things I can kind of agree with. Just like usual, right? So when it comes to that, like, fucking whatever. That's how it goes, okay? But all this extra rhetoric that he's been doing and playing into, and which is, and really not even that, just showing himself and being whatever, just real childish, disgusting behavior overall to try to describe it simple, which is hard because there's about 15 other adjectives and verbs and everything that needs to go into that, but it's not worth that much energy to put into, it's not worth I don't want to be negative, not saying it's not worth the energy, it's not worth to go that long. It's very simple. Sorry, I don't mean to over-explain, but yeah, man, so it's been that kind of day. And we'll see, man. But I don't want to, I'm not going to keep going on about it. I just need to bring up, since I was talking about like what's going on, that's basically what's up right now at this moment, today overall. So I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about into the week, and coming up it's going to be something else, especially you have that, and then just previously Mike Pence, with the terrible photo ops, so to speak, with the migrants that are being held in pretty much shitty conditions. They almost probably could be okay to conditions. It's just they're not providing all the resources there that should be there if you're going to do this, it's overall a complete waste. And it's only fucking bringing money to these corporations that are servicing this. So it's a total, it's just a money-making scheme for some of his buddies. And in the mix of it, it's just wrong. It's just absolutely wrong. It's unnecessary to waste this time and resource on holding people in this way. I would, at the most, man, I could only see it most. You get them and hold somebody and get their information and whatever you may need to do, and then catch and release, I guess. I can't I don't dispute that, because they have, whatever. Let everybody argue about that. That's just my fucking attitude. This isn't. There could be some things talked about more. Maybe somebody else has some other observations, but I'm at the least, okay, this is how bad it is. Okay, you have this now. Fucking at least they should be showering. There should be resources. It shouldn't be. If you're saying it, they're being taken care of and this and that, and they're great, then I should see that. Then I'd be like, well, okay, that'd be quite different. But that's not what we're seeing, and we know it's a bunch of bullshit. And then you have people, whatever. It's the fact that we're at this point and all these things is, it's I'd like to say it's disturbing or whatever, but it's not. It's sadly it is, but it's sadly like, well, this has been this has been a part. This is showing you a part of America that people forgot. Well, particularly, I would say white people, just to be general, and maybe some other ethnicities and so on. Anybody. But that's sorry.
That's gonna be today's video.
But I'm saying it. I'm pointing it more to white people, just because. They're not we're not, yeah, I'm white, hello Nate, yeah, but, however, I know I'm, anyways, what I'm just trying to say is, it's just that, I'm saying it like that because a lot of white people don't have to face the certain prejudices and all that. It's like a no-brainer. It's like these things that I'm saying, it's like goes without saying. It used to, it seemed, right? Or maybe I just thought that way, but apparently that's not really the case, actually. But that is a true thing, that's for sure. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go, well, not this and not that. No, I'm just saying it real simple and plain, because that's the fucking world we're in right now, okay? So let's just leave it at that. But yeah, this is unfortunately, these attitudes, these type of feelings and racism and all that. Yeah, this has been day one for this country. And is it everything about America? No, that wouldn't be accurate. Absolutely not. Just like anything I'm saying, and I say generalizing, and I'm saying all, it doesn't actually mean that, because, of course, I could sit there and we could break that down, but I'm not doing that. We're not doing a fucking history lesson. You guys can kind of get that yourself and take it however you want it. I don't care. But this is, unfortunately, is what it's, what's been living and going on here since many, 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 many years. So, you guys should know that, I would hope. But yeah, so it's fucked up. It is fucked up right now. But look, I continue to have a lot of hope. The main thing is we have to also remember to, in the midst of this, the hate and this kind of rhetoric and all that, you got to fight, but it can affect us in many ways, and all the negativity that comes with it. So to to try to stay positive in the midst of it is going to be the challenge and is important. We have to continue to stay positive, and the way to do that, the only way to kind of do that to me is, yes, pay attention, speak up any little way you need to if you feel the need to. Even if you don't, I think we have to. But I understand some people may not. Maybe they just, it's not even about that they don't have courage to do so. Some people just are, I'd say there's a lot of people that probably get just really affected by it, and it hurts them deeply, and it's hard for them to, it's hard for them to do. Not everybody's built for that, but the ones that are speaking up and have been, and that's all you need. Not everybody needs to participate. You just need a great number, and in that number, great people. So it's very simple. Just like how things shifted and turned into this and got this fuckhead in office, it's the same idea. I mean, it wasn't the greatest numbers of people, so it's the same thing. But in the midst of that, like I said, pay attention, do what you can do, but don't put too much time and energy into, like, I could go on and on about this whole thing, or bring up a million other things about him, or talk every podcast and go over all that, but it's really useless to regurgitate, kind of repeat it over and over. To me, it's useless to do that. Yeah, I could bring it up here and there, but I'm not going to have it take over my conversation completely. Day in and day out. There's other things we got to do in our life. We got to work. We got to take care of our shit. And also hopefully build our little future we hopefully have, or however long that is. And outside of that, actually, spend time with friends and family and all those kind of things. That should be a high percentage of our day. Every day. Those are the more important things. This guy and all that bullshit, it's got to be small. And that's fine. And I'll explain why it's fine, because as long as there's, still some action being done, it's not about, it's a collective action. So the more action that's being taken day after day, but even if you're not putting all this time and focus on it, it makes a great effect in numbers. So it's not necessary, because what are you going to do? My point is, what you can tweet at them, you can write to people, you can, if you're politically active and that's what you want to do and that is your main thing, then do it. I applaud people that you want to do that, great. But in the midst of that, even, hey, you got to go spend time with people. Go do things for yourself too, and that's not a selfish thing. You got to. It's for you to enjoy your life too. It's very important, because these things are unfortunately not going to be solved today, and may not be solved for many years. There's always going to be conflict. There's always, unfortunately, going to be some conflicts, and not every fight. You can't fight every fight today. Like, these things are going to go on for other generations to deal with, unfortunately. That's just the truth. That's just the truth, and I just say that because it's like, it's not about, you can't, the weight of the world of all the, it's like it puts the weight of everything in all times on us. Like, this is it. I don't agree, because that's not real. Things will come around. They will sort themselves out. This is what nature does, and the universe does. So, by all means, like I say, please, if you have the passion, and even little or big, and you want to make it known, do it. But I just want to keep encouraging to stay positive, to also do the things I just said, So that's all. And I know it's like people are doing it. Lives do go on. They are going on. But is it not? Is it scary? Is it fucked up? Is it all these things? Yes, of course, definitely. But pile it into all the other stuff. It's if you want to go that route, yeah, you could get really you learn some things. That's unfortunately somewhat there's burden with knowledge. It could be it could really fuck you up if you're not careful. You gotta. And that's where perspective comes in. It's like, something, I'll tell you something for me that kind of made me get perspective was, I was watching a video on YouTube, there's a channel, and I'll go ahead and shout it out, let me look it up while I'm saying it, but there's a channel that was, I've been watching a lot of space and planets and stuff like that. Just trying to it's not something I was always into, but I'm trying to get more knowledge. I've been getting more into it lately and interested. Yeah, this channel I think I've watched, the Space and Universe HD channel. You could watch, there's always live stuff on this YouTube channel. Space and the Universe HD. Yeah, check it out. Fucking awesome, man. So and actually once you look up anything like that, you'll find quite a few channels obviously out there. That's, I don't have enough time to watch them all, but the one I was watching, it was talking about black holes, which is a scary subject. It's a very scary subject, actually. And the sad fact is, it's not. It may be in our lifetime, but it may not be in our lifetime. It's one of those things, like I guess kind of like an earthquake, perhaps, or a big earthquake, or a calamity, right? But the sad truth is a black hole is gonna take all this shit one day. And you guys might be listening, what are you talking about, man? Well, they've identified about at least 100 or hundreds of them all in our galaxy. Now, our galaxy is very big, but those are identified ones, So, I guess there's one in particular, or the main one in particular. It's kind of at the center, or most of. I have to rewatch a little bit. I'm trying to give you the closest I can, but it's at the center of our galaxy. I don't know where we are in relation to that. We're obviously pretty big distances in between all this stuff still, right? But what happens is, it doesn't happen in the sense of like all of a sudden in that one moment we're sucked up in it and it's gone. Like, no, it takes a long time, but what would happen to start it? Yeah, don't worry, you will be gone before everything's sucked up all the way. Basically, yeah, it fucks up with the gravity and the gravitational pull, and a lot of earthquake type things start happening, and probably almost everywhere in a lot of places that probably never would have it. Yeah, it would be very, very disturbing, to say the least. So, yeah, it's some crazy shit. I cautionally say go check it out, but we should think about that and be aware of it. Now, how does something so horrible give me some kind of calm? But it actually does in a way. But I looked at that and think about it, and it just makes to me, those type of things, I guess much like asteroids and some other things, it kind of puts it in that perspective of, it just shows you, like, hey, our problems and all this shit we're arguing and the things we're doing, it's really kind of small in the scheme of it. When you really when you look at it that way, it's like, pfft. And that's what that's what governments and all these things, everybody should be more attuned and think about. But maybe in that reaction they are. Because it's like, well, hurry up and do everything you can, and because it's not going to last. I don't know. There's like I don't know. It's just maybe it's just the way we're wired. You know, we're in our little world, so of course we're going to see what's in front of us, deal with what's in front of us. Of course, it's not like we're going to be able to walk around 24/7 and just think about black holes and, you know, things on that scale, because they're not here. They're not of our world right now, or ever. It may never, because it's one of those things. It could happen in this lifetime that we're living, or it can happen thousands of lifetimes later of some sort, or millions. So I'm just sharing that. You know, hopefully it's for somebody, maybe you get the same kind of perspective, and it kind of gives you a thought. But yeah, check it out, man. It's interesting to look at and learn, man. It's fucking amazing. Yeah, I guess I never really, you know, I never explored into that much, black holes and stuff. I think I had probably a cartoon thought about how they worked, you know. Just like I said, sucking it in like you're vacuuming, and like it's fast. And it's like, no, it's not a fast process. It takes a long time. Like, it takes a very long time, but in the midst of it, the destruction that starts occurring, forget about it. Like, it ain't gonna matter, because probably for us, if that would start happening, it would just feel like, oh, it's the end of the world, and that would be like the beginning of the end, you know. But you know, maybe that's just for some parts of the world, and then I don't know. It'd be pretty massive. It'd be a really big deal, for sure. It would be super disruptive. And people would end up hurting and killing themselves in the midst of it, definitely, sadly. Yeah, it wouldn't be you'd want to really kind of go the fastest you could, because you just wouldn't want to be around for this shit. It wouldn't be worth it. So you guys that are preppers and all that bullshit you're doing, which, you know, God bless you, I guess, but it ain't gonna be ready for no motherfucking black hole, let me tell you that. Elon and you guys that think you're gonna go to Mars and all that bullshit, yeah, you're fucked too. It doesn't matter, because you can go there and it's gonna get wiped out just the same. Because it would hit like each planet. It'll start with this. It'll start with our sun. It'll also take out the sun before it even comes here. So yeah, it's not like nobody could fucking. There's nobody really, unless you got, which, hey, I don't know, because unless you got some super ass alien ass technology to fucking shoot your ass out of this galaxy and be able to like get away from that shit. Hey. Everybody, if you don't got that, and even in that, that's still good luck with that. Good fucking luck with that. So, man, talking about some deep shit this fucking time. That's right. Gonna keep it going. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I just gotta say. I just gotta put all those things out there, man, because, you know, I'm not trying to get you freaked out or whatever, and it probably might bug you a bit, but no, I'm just trying to say, like, look at perspective, because, you know, no, seriously, at the end of the day, we're probably mostly going to live you know, I think most of us will probably live a good life, I hope, you know, or a full or long life, with a lot of the things you hopefully expect or kind of want in that. That's really what we all look for. That's basically happiness, and like I said, the things I said before. You know, healthy, you know, like they say, healthy, wealthy, wise. And the wealthy part, we get all fucked up. Doesn't mean it has to be uber rich. Wealthy can be a lot of different things. Hopefully money is a part of it. But wealthy in knowledge, wealthy in love, wealthy in family, you know, there's all these other things in wealth. You know, maybe in skill, maybe in art, you know, maybe you're wealthy in creativity, you know. But you may not have all the wealth, but if you have some of that, or at least, the idea is to have a balance of much of it as you can, I think, but, basically, you're out of having some of that or all or most, that's going to give you a pretty well-rounded existence, really, but I don't know, some people may not appreciate it, but that's the thing we gotta hold dear. That's real, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here living for, maybe there are some other things, but that's what I see. It just depends how what you're built and how you're thinking and so forth. But yeah, it's interesting, All right, so getting a little deep on that train of thought, but yeah, just some, these are all things, like I said, I've been kind of going over in my head here and there for some time, but couple different things, like I was just talking about. That's more recent, like I said, so it just makes me think of some things differently. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Gone long enough. I appreciate the interest. I appreciate all the listeners, and look to have many more coming. So signing out. Have a great week, and we'll be back. Have fun later.
What's love of the Roots crew? Represent all true elements. You know what I'm saying, my man? DJ Bonds, alright? What's that?
Return of the B-boy style. Props to all the B-boys and B-girls in the house. Check it out. I got the vibe. 1, 2, check 1, 2, 3. Vibe with the style. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Jack, wreck the rhyme. Hell yeah.
When I'm on the mic, I like to speak free.
Yo, as easy as it may seem, the scene is not a capability for most to possess. You gotta catch up and take the time to create. Construct that mix straight, so act the mix straight, drinking the V8.